a single aircraft carrying 823 people in one flight, a bomber so fast it outruns its own missiles, a cargo plane that moved an entire diesel locomotive through the sky, the largest military aircraft ever destroyed in a single day of combat. These metal giants didn't just change warfare, they rewrote the rules of what's possible. Some are still flying after 70 years. Others were lost before the world truly knew their power. And one of them is so massive, it took 6 of the world's most powerful engines just to get it off the ground. From Soviet engineering marvels that landed in the Arctic to American workhorses that served in every major conflict since Vietnam, these aircraft represent the absolute peak of military aviation. But which one truly deserves the crown? The answer might surprise you, because the biggest isn't always the one you'd expect. Let's find out. Welcome to Jet Insight, where we bring you the most fascinating stories from military aviation history. If you think American engineering dominates this list, type proud in the comments below. 10. Hughes H-4 Hercules. Let's start with a legend wrapped in controversy. The Hughes H-4 Hercules, better known as the Spruce Goose, holds a unique place in aviation history. Built during World War II, this wooden giant has a wingspan of 320 feet. That's longer than a football field. Here's the shocking part. Despite being called the Spruce Goose, it was actually made entirely of birchwood. The nickname stuck anyway. Howard Hughes designed this flying boat as a transatlantic transport to move troops and equipment across the ocean. The problem? It flew only once on November 2nd, 1947, for less than a minute, just 70 feet above the water for about a mile. Critics called it a waste of money, but here's what they missed. This aircraft proved that massive wooden structures could actually fly. The engineering was so advanced that no one attempted anything like it again. The H-4 measured 218 feet long and stood 79 feet tall. To put that in perspective, it could fit a modern passenger jet inside its cargo bay. While it never saw military service, it pushed the boundaries of aircraft design. Today, it sits in a museum, a reminder that sometimes the biggest risks lead to the biggest lessons. And speaking of big risks, you won't believe what Soviet engineers were planning next. 9. Convair XC-99, from wood to pure American muscle. The Convair XC-99 was the largest piston engine land-based aircraft ever built. And only one was made, but this single plane had a career that put entire squadrons to shame. Powered by 6 engines in a pusher configuration, the XC-99 was designed to haul massive cargo loads across vast distances. During the Korean War, this aircraft became legendary. It transported heavy equipment, artillery, troops, and supplies that no other plane could move. The XC-99 could carry up to 100 pounds, 1,000 pounds of cargo. That's equivalent to 50 cars flying through the air. Ground crews would stop what they were doing just to watch it take off. The roar of those 6 engines was unmistakable. Here's what made it special. The Air Force needed to move outsized equipment fast, and the XC-99 delivered every single time. It flew missions that would have required multiple smaller aircraft, saving time and resources during a critical period. After its retirement, it sat in storage for decades. Now it's in Tucson, Arizona, awaiting restoration. Engineers today still study its design because the principles of heavy lift aviation haven't changed much. And if you think that's impressive, wait until you see what China just unveiled. 8. Xi'an Y-20. China shocked the world in 2016 when they rolled out their first true strategic airlifter, the Xi'an Y-20. This aircraft announced that China was done relying on foreign technology. They were building their own heavy lift capability, and they meant business. The Y-20 stretches 154 feet long with a wingspan of 147 feet. It can carry 66 tons of cargo, which includes tanks, armored vehicles, and mobile command centers. What makes this aircraft significant isn't just its size, it's what it represents. China can now project military power across vast distances without outside help. The Y-20 first flew in 2013, and by 2016, it entered service with the People's Liberation Army Air Force. It operates from rough airfields and handles extreme weather conditions. China plans to upgrade it with indigenous WS-20 engines, which will increase its range and payload even further. Military analysts watch this aircraft closely because it's a game changer for Asian military balance. Before we dive deeper, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. Over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it means a lot to us. Here's the interesting part. While China built their first one just recently, America has been flying something far bigger for over 50 years. Let's talk about that workhorse next. 7. Ilyushin IL-76 Candid. The Ilyushin IL-76 is proof that sometimes the simplest designs work best. First flown in March 1971, this Soviet transport was built to operate where other aircraft couldn't dream of landing. Unpaved runways, Arctic conditions, extreme heat. The Il-76 handled it all. This aircraft measures 153 feet long with a wingspan of 166 feet. It can haul up to 52 tons of cargo, depending on the variant. But here's what makes it remarkable. Over 900 were built, and they're still in production today. The newest version, the Il-76 MD-90A, rolled out just a few years ago with modern engines and avionics. The Il-76 features a distinctive glass nose that gives it an almost friendly appearance. Don't let that fool you. This aircraft served in every major Soviet and Russian military operation. It operates from dirt strips in Siberia, delivers humanitarian aid to disaster zones, and even fights fires with specialized water-dropping equipment. The onboard crane can lift 10 tons, making it self-sufficient at remote locations. Russian forces still rely heavily on the Il-76. It's simple, tough, and gets the job done without fancy systems that can break down. Over 300 serve with civilian operators too, proving its commercial value. And speaking of proven workhorses, America has one that's been flying since the 50s. 6. Boeing C-17 Globemaster III. The C-17 Globemaster III is America's heavy lift champion, and it holds a record that might never be broken. On August 15th, 2021, during the chaotic evacuation from Afghanistan, a single C-17 carried 823 people in one flight. Let that sink in. 823 souls depending on American engineering and American pilots. This aircraft is 174 feet long with a wingspan of 170 feet. It can carry 171,000 pounds of cargo. That includes M1 Abrams tanks, Apache helicopters, or massive amounts of humanitarian supplies. The C-17 can take off from a 7,700-foot runway and land on a 3,000-foot dirt strip. That combination of power and precision makes it irreplaceable. Boeing built 279 C-17s from 1991 to 2015. The United States Air Force operates 223 of them, with allies like the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, and India flying the rest. It's been the backbone of every American military operation since the mid-90s. Kosovo, Iraq, Afghanistan, humanitarian missions. The C-17 was there. Here's something most people don't know. Production ended in 2015, but Boeing is now in talks to restart the line. Multiple countries want more C-17s because nothing else matches its capability. It can refuel in flight, operate in hostile conditions, and deliver cargo directly to combat zones. And as impressive as the C-17 is, America built something even bigger decades earlier. 5. Boeing B-52 Stratofortress. The B-52 Stratofortress is more than an aircraft, it's a legend that refuses to die. First flown in April 1952, the B-52 is still flying today and expected to serve beyond 2040. That's nearly 90 years of service from one design. No other military aircraft comes close. This bomber stretches 160 feet long with a wingspan of 185 feet. 8 engines give it a range of over 8,000 miles without refueling. It can carry 70,000 pounds of weapons, nuclear or conventional. The B-52 was designed to deliver atomic bombs to the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Instead, it became America's most versatile bomber, 100 MHz. 44 B-52s were built between 1952 and 1962. Only the H model remains in service today, but those remaining aircraft have been upgraded continuously. New engines, new avionics, new weapon systems. The B-52H is essentially a modern aircraft in a vintage airframe. This bomber flew combat missions in Vietnam, Desert Storm, Kosovo, Iraq, and Afghanistan. It operated from Guam, Thailand, and bases across the United States. Ground crews nicknamed it the Buff, big ugly fat fella, to keep it clean. But there's nothing ugly about its performance. The B-52 can loiter over targets for hours, launch cruise missiles from hundreds of miles away, or drop massive bomb loads with precision. The Air Force plans to keep flying B-52s until at least 2050. That means pilots who haven't been born yet will fly aircraft designed by their great-grandparents. American engineering at its finest. But we're just getting to the truly massive aircraft now. 4. Tupolev Tu-160 Blackjack. The Tupolev Tu-160 Blackjack is the largest combat aircraft ever built, and it's a monster in every sense. This Soviet-designed bomber is 177 feet long, with a wingspan that extends to 183 feet when fully swept forward. When the wings sweep back for high-speed flight, it transforms into a supersonic dart capable of Mach 2.05. That's over 1,500 miles per hour. 4 Kuznetsov NK-32 engines power this beast, the most powerful engines ever fitted to a combat aircraft. Each one produces 55,000 pounds of thrust. The Tu-160 can carry nearly 90,000 pounds of weapons, including cruise missiles and nuclear bombs. It can fly over 7,600 miles without refueling, striking targets anywhere on Earth with mid-air refueling. The Russians call it the White Swan because of its anti-flash white paint and graceful appearance. Don't be fooled by the elegant nickname. The Tu-160 is a strategic weapon designed to penetrate enemy airspace at speeds that make interception nearly impossible. Only about 17 remain in Russian service, but they're being upgraded with modern avionics and engines. This aircraft made headlines recently when 2 Tu-160s flew an 11-hour patrol covering 18,000 kilometers. They launched cruise missiles during exercises, demonstrating their continued relevance. The Blackjack represents Soviet engineering at its peak. Massive, fast, and intimidating. And it's the only aircraft on this list that can outrun its own missiles after launching them. But even this supersonic giant isn't the biggest. America's answer to long-range heavy lift is up next, and it's a true colossus. 3. Lockheed C-5M Super Galaxy. The Lockheed C-5M Super Galaxy is the largest military aircraft in the United States Air Force, and watching one take off is like seeing a building decide to fly. At 248 feet long, with a wingspan of 223 feet, the C-5M is massive. But here's the mind-blowing part. It can carry 286,000 pounds of cargo. That's 143 tons flying through the air. The C-5 can transport 2 M1 Abrams tanks, 6 Apache helicopters, or the fuselage of a disassembled C-130 transport. The nose tilts up and the tail opens, allowing simultaneous loading from both ends. This capability means ground crews can load and unload in record time, crucial during combat operations. First delivered in 1969, the C-5 has served for over 50 years. All 52 remaining aircraft have been upgraded to the C-5M Super Galaxy standard, with new engines and modern avionics. These upgrades extended their service life to 2040 and beyond. The C-5M can fly transcontinental distances without refueling, delivering outsized cargo anywhere in the world. This aircraft saw action in Vietnam, Operation Desert Storm, Iraq, and Afghanistan. It delivered humanitarian aid after natural disasters and transported critical equipment during the COVID pandemic. Every major American military operation of the last 50 years involved the C-5 in some capacity. Here's something that shows its scale. The cargo hold is longer than the Wright brothers' first flight. You could park multiple fighter jets inside with room to spare. American air crews take pride in flying the Galaxy because it represents America's ability to project power anywhere, anytime. For veterans and military enthusiasts watching, there's a community of like-minded people sharing stories and insights about aircraft like these. Check the description to join the conversation. The C-5M is impressive, but we're finally reaching the absolute giants. The top 2 aircraft on this list are so large, they almost seem impossible. 2. Antonov An-124 Ruslan. The Antonov An-124 Ruslan is currently the largest military transport aircraft in operation, and it's a flying warehouse. At 226 feet long, with a 240-foot wingspan, this Soviet-designed giant can haul 150 tons of cargo. That's the weight of 300 cars. Front and rear cargo doors allow drive-through loading. Vehicles can roll in the front and drive out the back. The An-124 operates from unpaved runways, making it invaluable for remote operations. It features an onboard crane system and can kneel down to lower its cargo floor for easier loading. This aircraft doesn't just move cargo, it moves entire military operations. Developed during the Cold War, the An-124 was designed to transport Soviet ballistic missiles and heavy military equipment. About 55 were built, and many remain in service with Russia and several other nations. The Ruslan also works commercially, moving outsized industrial equipment that no other aircraft can handle. Military analysts consider the An-124 irreplaceable. Its combination of payload capacity, range, and rough field capability makes it unique. Even though it's a Cold War design, modern military forces still depend on it. Commercial operators charge premium rates because demand far exceeds supply. This aircraft carried generators weighing over 100 tons, transported locomotives, and moved entire factories. During natural disasters, An-124s delivered emergency equipment when no other aircraft could reach affected areas. It's proof that sometimes bigger really is better. But there's one aircraft that dwarfed even the mighty An-124, and its story ends with tragedy. 1. Antonov An-225 Maria. The Antonov An-225 Maria was the largest aircraft ever built. Period. Nothing else comes close. At 276 feet long, with a wingspan of 290 feet, the An-225 was an engineering marvel that seemed to defy physics. Its maximum takeoff weight was 640 tons, over 700 short tons of aircraft, fuel, and cargo lifting into the sky. Only one was built. It was created in the 1980s to carry the Soviet Buran space shuttle on its back. The An-225 had 6 Progress D-18T engines, the same engines that powered 4 on the An-124, but this aircraft needed 2 more just to get airborne. It could carry 250 tons of cargo internally, and it held over 240 world records during its operational life. Maria means dream in Ukrainian, and this dream aircraft accomplished impossible missions. It transported 130-ton generators, it carried diesel locomotives through the air, it moved wind turbine blades over 130 feet long. The An-225 delivered critical medical supplies during the COVID pandemic, becoming a symbol of international cooperation and hope. On February 24, 2022, Russian forces attacked Hostomel Airport near Kiev during the invasion of Ukraine. The An-225 was undergoing maintenance in its hangar. In the battle that followed, the aircraft was destroyed. The world watched in shock as images emerged of the ruined giant. Aviation enthusiasts mourned the loss of an irreplaceable piece of engineering history. Ukraine has announced plans to rebuild the An-225 using a partially completed second airframe that's been in storage for decades. Whether this dream can be resurrected remains to be seen. But for now, the title of world's largest military aircraft returns to the An-124. The An-225's story reminds us that these aircraft are more than metal and rivets. They represent human ambition, engineering excellence, and the drive to accomplish the impossible. From wooden flying boats to supersonic bombers, from cargo haulers that served for 70 years to modern Chinese Challengers, each aircraft on this list pushed boundaries and changed what we thought possible. Conclusion. These 10 giants of the sky showcase the incredible progress of military aviation. American ingenuity gave us aircraft still flying after 7 decades. Soviet engineering created cargo haulers that remain unmatched. And together, these machines moved armies, delivered hope during disasters, and defended freedom across the globe. If you enjoyed this deep dive into aviation history, hit that like button and subscribe to Jet Insight for more incredible military stories. What aircraft surprised you most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.